Hey guys, so it's Hannah. I'm finally about to do my long-awaited, long-overdue deck. It is going to be a black and red zombie pod deck. I consider it a aggro combination deck. I think it's really good. You guys can, of course, let me know what you think. I'm sorry, I know I've been posting. I was going to post this for a few days now. I've been so busy moving into a new apartment and work, and it's just been really hectic, so I'm sorry I haven't gotten that done, but it's finally done now. Hopefully it's pretty good. I know it will take a long time, so I don't really want to ramble that much, but I guess I should go ahead and get started with it. Oh, and sorry, because I do have to view this on my phone, because there's no way I could actually, like, do it on a webcam. It just wouldn't work well. So, to start it, it might be kind of shaky. Sorry. I have my lands. And by lands, we have swamps. I have 23 altogether, and I have specifically 12 swamps, and then I have 3 types of dual lands. 2 types are Blackcleave Cliffs and Dragonskull Summit. They're both black and red, so they go well with my Falkenrath Aristocrat and Zealous Conscripts. And then I have the third one is Woodland Cemetery, which is black and green, which goes well with Birthing Pod, which is what I use it for. The next thing that we're going to head into do is creatures. For creatures, I have 2 things that almost every single zombie deck has, and if you don't, I'll be very surprised. Gravecrawler and Diregraf Ghoul. Both really good cards, 1-drops. You want to try and get these cards out on your first turn. Gravecrawler can't block. Good thing with that is if it's killed in battle, then it can come right back onto the, you can get it, I'm sorry, I keep stumbling over my words. You can take it back from your graveyard as long as you control another zombie, which in this deck should not be hard at all. And then for Diregraf Ghoul, good thing about it is it comes in tapped, and you want to try and get that on your first turn, you can automatically play with it. Comes a good card. For our 2-drops, we have Gloom Surgeon, Butcher Ghoul, Highborn Ghoul, and a Blood Artist. I only have 1 Gloom Surgeon. I personally really like this card. I think it's a really good card for this deck. Some people might not like it. They might not like the ability, but personally, I think it's a really good way of preventing damage and keeping it in the game for a long time. Basically what Gloom Surgeon does, if any damage is supposed to be done to it, you can avoid that by exiling that many cards from the top of your library. Pretty self-explanatory. Good thing, next we're going to Butcher Ghoul. Big person, this is a big card for the Birthing Pod, because this card has Undying. Undying is when a creature has no +1/+1 counters on it. If someone killed it and it didn't have any +1/+1 counters on it, then I can bring it back from my graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on it. That would work with Birthing Pod, because I could sacrifice it later and bring in a stronger card, but I will get to that later. Highborn Ghoul. It has Intimidate. Can't be blocked except by creatures, artifact creatures. Basically. Oh, and anything that shares its color, so anything that's black. So you wouldn't really want to use that card against another zombie deck. It's not that effective, but for like a Delver deck or something like that, it would work really well on. And then one of my favorite cards altogether are Blood Artist. This card is really good. It's really simple, but it's really effective in combos with this deck. It when any creature dies, anyone's target player, so my opponent loses a life and I will gain a life, which is always a great thing. Next, to move on to 3-drop, we have Geralf's Messenger. That is probably my favorite card in this deck. It is a really good combo. It works well with a lot of things. First, to start it off, it comes tapped, which is good. It comes in the battlefield tapped. As soon as it also comes into the battlefield, target opponent loses 2 life. And then, to top it off, Geralf has Undying. So, to play that with Birthing Pod. So, say someone got rid of that, I can use Birthing Pod. It would come back if it had no +1/+1s on it. And then I can use Birthing Pod and make it a Falkenrath Aristocrat or a Phyrexian Metamorph or some type of card like that, which is very useful. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Also, that's why I have not done this video. Next we have Disciple of Bolas. This is a 4. This card's good for a slow game. Say you don't really have a lot going on in your hand and there's nothing really to play on the field, then you can bring this card out. You sacrifice a creature, you gain the life equal to the what the creature cost was, and then you draw that many cards as well. So if I sacrificed a creature that was a 3, then I would gain 3 life and I would get to draw 3 cards from my library. Then for another 4 we have Falkenrath Aristocrat. Everyone already knows this card and how good it is. I don't really need to explain that much on it. It has flying, it has haste, basically it's pretty self-explanatory. As well as when you sacrifice it, you sacrifice a creature, then Falkenrath becomes indestructible. So a good way to do that would be sacrificing an undying creature that did not have any counters on it. You sacrifice that, you can bring that back into the battlefield as well as having your Falkenrath being indestructible. Moving on, we'll go to Phyrexian Metamorph. Phyrexian Metamorph, it can be paid with either a blue or 2 life. And I don't have any blue in my deck, so I'd either have to pay it with 2 life or something of that sort. The good thing with what I would probably more than likely do instead of paying the 2 life is I would say I would use the Birthing Pod with right here, Geralf's Messenger. If I use Birthing Pod with Geralf's Messenger, which didn't have any counters on it, then I could sacrifice that, bring Geralf back, and then use Birthing Pod to bring in Phyrexian Metamorph. That way I would not have to pay the 2 life at all, and then I could just make this Phyrexian Metamorph a copy of Geralf's Messenger or any other card I wanted to, because that is the ability on the card. Once you bring it in, it can copy any artifact or creature on the battlefield. Next we have Zealous Conscript. Really good card in the deck. It has haste, so it doesn't have to be tapped once it's played. When it enters the battlefield, I gain control of any permanent that my opponent has. Good thing with this one is, so I would probably, if it was in gameplay, I would probably use this in the case of, again, probably with my Birthing Pod, I would take control of one of their cards that was probably giving me a hard time, like a 5 or a 6 or something that was being a little pesky. I would I would take control of it, I would then sacrifice it for Birthing Pod, and then bring something out of my deck back that I'd want to use. So that would eliminate their card, and then also put me, give me the upper hand. That's how I personally like to use that card. For Massacre Wurm, this is our last creature card. It's a 6. First off, when it enters, target my opponent gets a -2/-2, and then whenever a creature that this card always is difficult for me to explain. Whenever a creature is put into the graveyard, the player loses 2 life from this. Whenever it's on the field. So for what I really personally like to do with most of these cards actually is use the Blood Artist, because they give you that gain 1 life and the opponent loses 1 life whenever any creature is put into the graveyard, which is why it goes so well with Birthing Pod, because, or any Undying creature, because anytime I sacrifice or bring those cards back, I still am gaining life while they're losing life. So for this, say they had a lot of small cards, 1/1, 2/2s, I would gain life just by them dying from this loses 2 life, and then I would gain life from the Blood Artist combo that was used onto that. The next thing that we're doing after creatures are going to do instants and sorceries. Right here I have a ×3 Tragic Slip. Tragic Slip, target creatures get -1/-1 until the end of turn, or you can use it with Morbid, which is what I prefer to do. So I would use this instant. Say that someone killed one of my creatures on the battlefield. I would then play the instant of Tragic Slip, and Morbid, the Morbid ability makes that creature have a -13/-13 till the end of turn, which would eliminate it. And I have 3 of those, so they're cheap and they're effective. Next we have Murder. It's a 3-drop, but it's very, destroy target creature. Pretty straightforward. Last but not least, we have Killing Wave. This is probably one of the most hardest cards in the deck for me to get with. It for each creature I control or I sacrifice it, they pay that life. So I guess easiest way to describe it is in a scenario for Killing Wave. Say I paid 5 mana, then I could use this card, and that person would either have to pay 5 life for each creature they have, or sacrifice their creature. Now the way that this works is it's really good, because whether they decide to pay the 5 life, for, say they had 3 and they decide to pay the 5 life, so they pay 15, or whether they just decide to sacrifice their creature, either way they're losing life, because that would go in combo with the Blood Artist right here, which would make me gain life as they choose to lose it, and then make them lose more as well as their creatures. So either way they're losing life and losing creatures, or just losing life. So that's a really good combo. And then the last card, which is the center focus of this entire deck, is Birthing Pod. Birthing Pod, it is a 3 with a green. So it's a 4-drop, and you either have to play a green permanent or 2 life, which is why I have the Woodland Cemeteries for these Birthing Pods. Sometimes it's easier just to use the 2 life. It's really easy to. It only has a little. You either have to tap a green permanent or pay the 2 life and 1 other mana to use its ability, which is you sacrifice a creature and then you get to search the library for the creature equal to that +1. So again, like I said before, either with this, sacrifice this Butcher Ghoul, which has Undying, bring it back and bring a Geralf's, or sacrifice a Geralf, bring that back and get a Falkenrath or a Phyrexian and copy that Phyrexian to be another Geralf. Something of that sort. Any combo like that would work really, really well with this entire thing. So that's all for the main deck. Then we have the sideboard. Sorry, small space. Sideboard, I have 4 different kinds of things. For the first one, it's to face a controlled deck. This is Liliana the Veil, Appetite for Brains, Duris ×2, and then another Birthing Pod. And the point of this one is to try and control their deck. That's what I would use this against. This is a Pyreheart Wolf. And this one is good against tokens. And the point of this one is to try and attack their deck. Third, we have a Surgical Extraction, a Crypt Creeper, and a Nihil Spellbomb. This is good for frights and zombies. And what I think it's good for is reviving all my powerful creatures or things that were in my graveyard or have been gone. And then last but not least, we have Pillar of Flames. This is good for tokens and Delver decks. It's cheap. It's only a 1-drop, but it does 2 damage. So it's effective and it will work well. So depending on what you're facing, then that would be the way to go. So, all in all, that is my zombie pod deck, my much awaited zombie pod deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you thought the layout was decent. I'm sorry the space was so small. I'm sorry if you couldn't see much, but hopefully you could understand what I was saying. There's more to come. I'm still working on that red-green aggro, so I'm sure I'll be doing a deck tech on that soon, but for now I just have this one. I actually have played with this one a few times, and it's done really well. It's won almost every time. Maybe I was playing bad people, who knows, but I think it's good. I also think that the combos are good. All in all, I really like it. And I usually am not a swamp person or a black gal. I like red-green, but this one is really good. It's also a really quick game. It's really fast-paced because a lot of things are cheap. Anyway, this video has gone long enough, so thank you for watching. There are more to come. I won't be slacking as much since I'm pretty much all moved into the apartment. I hope you keep watching, keep commenting, keep rating, keep subscribing, please. Tell your friends. Like I said, I'm still doing that competition when I get to 100. I'll announce the prize as soon as I get a little bit closer, because I'm still like 30 or more away, which stinks. So, tell your friends about it. Tell them, please. It'll be awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye!